Hey everyone, it's Rita with Miss Rita to the rescue, and we're here with our Cricut Joy doing another project for Valentine's Day. And actually this one is a Joy project. I didn't think starting out that I was going to do this on the Joy, but decided last night that I would. And we're cutting out these really pretty, it's called Papel Picado, which I'm going to give you a little background on, but these really pretty banners that we talked about before, these banners, and they are, I put the white behind it so you could kind of see what the cutouts were. They normally don't go with a banner behind it, but with a white behind it, but on the camera you can't really see it. But the thing that I ran into, good morning everyone, good morning, is that doing it on the Joy, I have a brand new needle and a brand new mat, but I was having problems with it cutting all the way through, and I wanted to show you how I resolved that. So this is what I mean. This was a thing that I cut out before. It's one of the two things that I cut out before, and you notice that when you're taking it off the mat, it's still not cut all the way through, and I put it on more, which makes me concerned. So I'm assuming that you all have had this problem, whether it's on your Joy or whether it's on your Explore or your Maker, but this leads to very messy looking cuts. And there are some troubleshooting, see there? So by pulling it out, it's going to cause this paper to be very messy, and you just don't want that. And so there are some things that you can do to change your cuts, and I'm going to go over them today. Okay, so these, to me, this is very frustrating, and what's the point of cutting with, I mean, this one I did, but look at in the back, all of these. So sometimes you have to determine, is it worth it to sort of hand pick it out, or is it the kind of thing you have to start over and make some changes? So that's what we're going to do today, in addition to making these lovely banners. It says B, right? B-M-I, Be Mine. So Be Mine with one of those cherubs on the end. So cute. So let's see what we just got off of the mat. I made some changes, so I wanted to show you. So here is the change that I made, and look at how beautiful this is cutting out. And what did I change? Well, as I mentioned, whoops. Dogs are barking, sorry. As I mentioned, look at how beautiful. I mean, there's still a few little pieces that need to be poked out, and that's just the nature of cutting with a die cut machine. But here, let me just poke it out. But it came off so easily. It didn't rip through the back, and it ended up coming out very nice. So what did I do? You're currently having this issue. Okay, so I'm glad to know that some people are having this issue, because it's something that there are a number of things that you can troubleshoot on, and I see all the time in the groups, you know, people asking, why isn't it cutting all the way through? And there's a few things that you can do to make that change. So we're going to go over that today. But first, let me just say hello to everyone, and just remind you that we are live here on Facebook, and then we put all of our videos on YouTube, and on YouTube you can watch any of hundreds of videos that I have that are repeats of this program. They're live. You don't get to see the chat, but I would definitely recommend that you subscribe and watch videos there, and you can learn quite a bit in some of those videos. So All right. So let me tell you a little bit about the stars. I don't know too much about the stars, but someone mentioned here, you can add them. So I did on Sunday. I think I added them, and apparently you go out and you buy them at Facebook, and like they're each worth a penny or something. And so they said you had to turn it on your page. So I did. I don't know. I mean, it's really cute. It's kind of like a tip. But also remember that, I'll always be free. I'm not begging you for money. It's just not my style. You can support this channel, I guess, through the stars and also through Patreon. But again, I'm not going to make it so that, you'll be, you won't be able to view my what do you call it? My channel stuff, my instructions, my videos or whatever. I'm not going to ever make it so that you must pay to play sort of thing. That's just not me. But if you wanted to, you felt in your heart you wanted to support my channel, you get something from it, then you can. It's sort of like public broadcasting, I guess. So you can do that in a number of ways. Okay, does that help? Content, thank you. Do you get any pay for the stars? Yeah, I do. I don't know too much about the stars. I guess, as I said, like, I get 1 cent for every star, which doesn't seem like a lot, but apparently you can, yes, they are, Annette. And you can sort of give like 10, 50, 100 or whatever. Hi, Peralita from St. Louis. Yes, Annette, these are, I'm trying them out, okay? These are non-Cricut mats. Oh, thank you to whoever just gave me the stars. And again, I'm fairly new to this, so please, I apologize. For one thing, I am not a salesman. I am just a teacher, and I love to teach. So I'm going to do it whether or not I get that extra support. So you don't have to worry about me ever cutting you off or whatever. Okay. So hello, everybody. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Penny and Dawn and all the other great folks. Christine. Oh, thank you, Christine, Peralita, Annette, Kathy, Emmy, Dawn, another Dawn, Charity. All of my friends are on today. And so let's start off by saying, yes, you absolutely can do this project on your Maker or your Explorer. I'm just showing you on the Joy because I thought it was a perfect project for the Joy. Now these ones here that I cut out are actually a little bit bigger because I wanted to cut them out so that it would fit on to the Joy. There's a lot of cutouts here, you see. And so when you're doing these cutouts, you might notice certain things. You might notice that the cutouts, this is what I did earlier, don't cut all the way out. You see that? You have to use your fingers. Now, to a certain extent, some of that is going to happen just simply because there's a lot of cutouts on these papers. But if you're getting to the point where you're having to pick out like every single thing and it's leaving this paper and you're having to cut around it and stuff like that, then you know you got a problem because that is not how a Cricut is supposed to work. So I want something that's clean and it cuts out for the most part. Maybe I have to pick out a few little holes, but for the most part, the machine is doing the work. So how do I get around it? There are 3 things to consider. Maybe a 4th, okay? First thing to consider is your mat, okay? So mats they eventually lose their stick. And the Joy, was designed for smart materials, but because we're using paper and there isn't a smart paper yet that isn't adhesive. Now, you could use an adhesive paper, but mats end up getting unsticky. So here is a mat that I've had for a while. And you can see I keep the stick, the little cover on it so it stays clean, but it's kind of lost its stick. And so if I go to put some paper on it, it would be really hard for that paper to adhere. Right? Even if I push it down, it's still lifting and like that. So think about if you put this in the machine, even if it did go in to the machine, it's still not properly stuck on there. So when the blade is coming up and down to make all of those little cuts, it's not secure on the mat. So the first thing you have to consider is your mat. Now, what do you do if your mats don't stay sticky? Well, we've talked about this before. First of all mats are like this, okay? The mats do come in 3 different kinds. They're in green, but they also come in blue. And for the Maker and Explore, they also come in a purple, like a lavender color. So you do need to keep them clean. So cleaning them is simple. You just have to use a sponge and some hot soapy water. And it will help to bring the stickiness back. But it doesn't all come back, and it will eventually wear, because if you think about it, it's an adhesive on the mat, and after you put on and take off so many things, eventually that stickiness is going to go away. So you can take your older mats, and this does include the card mat. You can take your older mats and you can re-stick them. And I have done this with this product. Whoops, sorry. And also another product, but this product for the Joy, the Zig Memory System 2-way repositionable glue. So this is just basically a chisel tip. This one might not be working. No, it's not working. All right, let me get the other one. It's a chisel tip, and it's a blue glue, and you kind of pump it to get it going, and then you use the glue on here. But if you want to do the entire mat, because it would be kind of hard to do this the entire mat with this, but this would be good for the card mat. You can use this, which is called Aleene's Tack It Over and Over, okay? Now, the thing about Aleene's is that you have to dilute it. It's way too thick to put on a mat. So I diluted it with water. I would say like a 2 to 1. And it's very, very thick, so you have to dilute it. Oh, yeah. It does. You're right. So it does. It takes a while for it to stick. And then what we've done in the past, and I've told you about this, is I tape off the mat, because I don't want the glue to be on these edges, because this is how they go in and out of the machine. And then you basically paint this watered down glue on your mat, allow it to dry, and it will bring back the stick. Or you could try a new mat. I know mats are expensive, but there are some other choices. This I wanted to try just simply because I've seen people use them. These are knockoffs. I'm not sure I love the knockoffs. I loved the price, but I'm not sure that I love the knockoffs because they seem to be almost too sticky. But that is an option. So I wanted to show you that that's an option. But I would try, because you've already made an investment in the mat, I would try to re-stick them that way. So that's one thing that is possible that could go wrong with your cutting. The second thing is your blade. Now, the blades on the Joy, to me, seem to get dull quickly. I don't know why. because they should all be done with this German carbide, same as with the Maker and the Explorer. But if you need to, you should consider checking your blade, if you're having that problem. And you can see on my blade, I've got like some dirt on there. So you can clean it, and sometimes that will do it. But sometimes you just need to replace your blade. Now, if you've seen some place where someone says, I took a piece of aluminum foil and I sharpened it, that is going to be a very, very short-term solution for a new blade. So you will need to change the blade on a regular basis. The blades are kind of expensive. However, you can get them on sale when they have them on sale and just pick up a couple and have them. There are also knockoffs available. I haven't tried them, but they are knockoffs available. There are also knockoffs available for the other machines as well. But I always like to use what's made for the machine, So check to see if your blade is stuck. There's something stuck on there, and consider how long you are doing this. Now, the third thing has to do with the actual cutting itself, and that has to do with pressure. Okay, so in this case, we'll see here, I have my my setting cut at medium cardstock, but you see under there it says pressure more. That is a place where you can add it to, you can increase or decrease your pressure. Normally it's set to default, and it will cut. But if you have some problems, again, this is a very detailed cutout. If you have some problems, you can set your pressure to more, and that will help, okay? So blade, your mat, the pressure the pressure sensor, and then the last thing is the paper itself, okay, or the material that you're cutting from. Now, this paper, which I really, really love, is from AC Cardstock, and it's a beautiful paper. But clearly, this is I have a brand new blade, I have a brand new mat, and I put on more pressure. But look, it's still a problem. This is a textured cardstock, and I'm going to show you the differences here. Okay, so this is the paper that I was using. It's textured, and that means I hope I can get it in the camera, but there is like a canvas texture on this, and it's usually on the front. If I do here with the back, it might be better, but it is a fairly thick cardstock. If you're going to find this, if you have basil paper, it's super thick, okay? Now, this here is Cricut cardstock. It has a texture, but it's more of a pebbly texture, and this cuts beautifully in the Cricut, okay? But I didn't have any pink, so I went with this to start with. Well, then, once I saw that it was having problems cutting out, I ended up going to this paper. Now, this paper comes from Michael's, so it's easy to get. And this one here is from this pad. It's called Sweet Berry. And you'll see that they have a lot of these in colors. And the paper is sort of shiny. See if I can show you. And this one here comes in all of these different colors, right? But the notable difference here, it's kind of shiny, and it does have a slight texture, but the notable difference here is that it's a lot thinner, okay? And so let me just hold it up to these other two. There's a lot of, a lot thinner paper. So having a thinner paper, I think, in keeping my pressure high and having a new blade, having a new mat, sorry, I'm having trouble, is I think going to help me achieve. Now, this doesn't mean all the time, but when you're doing a project this intense with all of these cutouts, you might want to consider a thinner paper is what I'm saying. I'm going to show you how to cut it so that it can go in the Joy, and we'll see how we how we do, okay? Now this paper is 12 by 12. Michael's also has paper that's 8.5 by 11, and I always recommend it because it really is. It's a great buy. It's usually under $6, and you can get 50 sheets of paper. So when you're ready to cut on the Joy, and you've picked out your paper, then what you're going to want to do is cut it down. So like I've done here, I've cut this down. Sorry, I'm making myself a little mess here. So I take my 12 by 12 paper, and I'm going to put it into my slicer. You don't have to do this, but to me it's very precise, and instead of using scissors. So what I do is I take 12 by 12 inch paper and cut it at 4.5 inches. Now you could cut it at 4.25 inches, but I found that I have to think about that because sometimes I have to put it in a very precise way. So I'm trying to do it at 4.5, so it goes from one end to the other. So by cutting it at 4.5 from one sheet, I get 2 long strips. Okay, so that works for me. And then I have this extra that I'll use for something else. Okay. So then I'm going to put it on the pad, and then let's go ahead and try to cut something. Remember, we're going to set the pressure for more, and we're also checking off, remember, my material setting. Okay, and so I see people asking, can you do the pressure from the maker or from the Explorer? You absolutely can do this. Absolutely. And it's right there. When you're going to cut it, it shows as pressure, more, less, or default. Okay. So here we are. We're putting in the mat this. It has a new blade, a new mat, and we're using this paper. And these are all my imperfect cutouts from before. This is before I made changes like the mat, the blade, and then I realized it's my paper, okay? So we're going to use this, and I'm going to hit go, and it will start cutting that. And I think that it's going to cut out well. So what do you do with this stuff? Recycling, right? So I'm going to just hit it in recycling. So the bottom line is, if you're having problems, don't think it's you, okay? It's not you. It's just one of, you're working with a machine, and it's just one of a couple things to check. For some reason, my Joy just stopped. I don't know why. Weird. But it just stopped. Isn't that always the way with me? Where things don't why load? I lost my connection. All right, so I'm going to reconnect. Let's see. So if that happens to you, go to your settings and go to Bluetooth and make sure your Joy is connected, which it is. So I don't know. I'm assuming that that's what happened. So see, it says select an accessory. So if that is the case, I need to go back to settings. I'm going to turn my Bluetooth off. I'm going to turn it back on again. And then I'm going to connect my Joy. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to Design Space. I get that message. And we're going to hit continue, and we can go ahead and continue. Now it did already start, but since all of those images at the top are the same, I'm going to let it go ahead. I might have to actually unload it. Yeah, I'm going to unload it. That'll be good. I'm going to just use the same thing. Okay. Now the material that I'm choosing is medium cardstock, but remember, we got to set the pressure to more. And I'm going to remember that material setting. So let's go ahead and put it back in and have it start cutting. All right, so it's ready to start cutting. Hopefully we don't have any connection problems, and that will go. So, I know when you guys watch the other people that do videos, especially the ones where they pre-video it or they pre-tape it, they tape it not live. I do everything live. So for me, what you see is what you get, and this is like a real experience from a user. So when they do the tapes, they often, if they come into a problem, they stop and they retape over it, so it makes it look effortless. And then what happens is you at home, the user, think that there's something wrong with what you're doing, and in actuality, it's not always that simple. Sometimes you do have to, start over, or it doesn't cut right, whatever. Don't get that frustrated, and don't say, well, I've seen this woman and she does it and she doesn't have any problems, so why am I having problems? Well, you're watching me and you're seeing that this is being done live. It's taped, but it's being done live. So you can see, as a regular person just doing a cutout, that I lost my connection. I needed to change the pressure. I needed to do, blah, blah, blah. So just don't think that you're not getting it. It's just having worked with it for a long time, and these are like the real life issues. Okay. It's a wonderful machine. I love everything Cricut, but it's sometimes not like 100% foolproof. You're not just gonna, like on the cute little videos with the very sweet little music, da da da, and then all of a sudden she's got a beautiful done product. It just doesn't always work that way. Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to discuss today. Now, as far as where I got this, and it's just so cute, isn't it? And I put white behind it just simply because I wanted you to see the cutout, and not having the white behind it, it's hard to see that cutout, okay? But this is Papel Picado. And Papel Picado is a Mexican art form that's usually done by hand on very thin paper, most of the time tissue paper. Now, you may have seen it with like Cinco de Mayo and stuff like that, but the Cricut folks have taken this Papel Picado and made it available in all kinds of different designs, including the traditional Papel Picado. And also there's one for basically every holiday, sort of like those long boards that we have been doing. So the Papel Picado is basically, it means pecked, or I think it means pecked paper. And the way that the old masters would do it is they take a chisel and a big thick thing of tissue paper, and then just chisel all of these little dots all the way through. Now that is time consuming and quite a work of art. So I love that Cricut has come up with these things that we can use for that. To hang them up, first of all, tissue paper doesn't go in this machine. You can use it in the maker, but I'm not sure that it would do this but let's just stick with regular paper because it's still fun. Cut very small. It means cut very small. Okay, thank you. Perlita says, Picado means to cut very small. And the word papel is paper. So that's what this is. Lots of small little cuts. And you've got to consider that if you're just cutting out like one shape, a square or a star or a circle, it's going to be pretty simple to do on any machine. But to do this level of detail is pretty amazing. And so you need to be concerned about just, again, your blade, your mat, the material, and the pressure. Remember those 4 things and you will be golden. I'm not saying you're never going to have a problem, but if you remember those 4 things, it's very easy to resolve the problems. Now this is almost done cutting, which I'm pretty excited about, and I'm going to show you. Keep getting that design space. I guess they want us to know that they're going to be closing up design space for it, for an update. Which I've heard that people are having problems. I understand that. So I did post on my page, the Miss Rita to the Rescue Facebook page, a solution, and then hopefully with this design space maintenance, it will address the problem. So, I mean, they're working on it. So be patient. I know some people don't get very patient, or they have a hard time being patient with this sort of thing. So, here are the ones that I did that came out well. Like this, isn't that pretty? I just really love it. And they have one for St. Patrick's Day. They have one for Easter. So they have them for all of the things. Okay, here, we're just going to hit unload. And there's our first cutout, okay? And let's see. Oh, I'm already very encouraged by this. So you see, I'm peeling it off. I'm bending the mat because that's the best way to get it off without causing rips or, and there, I have nothing to remove. Let me just hold it up against some white. You see that? Nothing to remove. It's all completely cut out, but only because I followed my own technique, which is new blade, new mat. I went through the whole process, new blade, new mat, more pressure, the right material. Okay. So there you go. Let's go, and I want to just show you how we're going to cancel out of here. First of all, where I found this, and I also want to show you how I got the large, how I got it, because normally it will come on a small, and I always buy the large mats because I feel like I can cut out more. So let's go back to the canvas. So there's my canvas. I will give you this, this file so you don't have to resize or do anything like that. But let's go, we're going to save this and we'll start from scratch. So to start from scratch, go to home, hit this plus with the circle, and then we're going to go to images, okay? Now, if you type in here, Papel Picado, it would work, but I like to go to image sets because this way they're all in one grouping together. So if I typed Papel Picado here, I'm going to get all the different kinds of Papel Picado that's out there. So let me show you. Okay, so here this one is for Halloween, and then this one, I don't know, maybe it's just the basic, and then this one's for graduation. That's for Dia de los Muertos, and this is for Father's Day. And so you see, there's a lot. St. Patrick's Day. We haven't even come across the this is just a basic one. Here is the one for Valentine's Day. So if you did a search in images, you know, and you see something you like and you want to do, say, let's do the St. Patrick's Day one, but you want to have it all in one place so you can choose what you're going to cut out. Go to this eye with the circle like this and choose View Image Sets. When you do that, it brings you to that image set and it has everything that's in that image set. So now if you wanted to say let's choose the word lucky, I would just need to find, there's the U, that's a 6. There's the C and there's the K. Where's the L? L, 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 luck, E. Now we just need the Y. And then we just choose all of them. You see that? L, U, C, K, Y. And maybe I want to put something in front of it. Do I want to put the pot of gold or just the St. Patrick's Day? Or I don't know. Let's do the shamrock, okay? So it comes into your design space. And they all come the same size. So let's just kind of L-U, whoops, C, K, Y. Now, I think I want to do this, duplicate this. So simple. Just go here to Actions, right? And hit Duplicate. And then you'll see I have 2 of these shamrocks, one for the beginning and one for the end. Okay. Now, as far as size goes, remember when you're cutting with the Joy, it cannot, and this is going to be on a mat, it cannot exceed 4.25 inches. I cut this at 4 and I think it looks like a really good size. So I'm just going to go under each one of those banners, or I can group them. Look at me grouping these all together. Let me see. I can get up close so you can see it. And when I choose to group them here, I can use, let's see, edit. I can use something called align. See this? This is align right there. So I'm going to choose align, and you can align to the center or to the left or to the right, top, middle, and bottom. So let's do align center. And now every single one of my cutouts they're stacked perfectly, and I can change the size, okay, and know that it's all going to work together. So I'm going to change the width on these to 4 inches, 4.0 inches. And now when I ungroup them, they're all the correct size. And then we can go ahead and just cut from there. Isn't that great? Yeah, this is pretty intense. And yet the machine does a really great job as long as you consider the blade, the mat, the pressure, and your paper, okay, or your material. So that is Papel Picado. I want to show you again how many Papel Picado there are out there. Let's go to image sets, and I'm just going to type in Papel Picado. And there's 10 right now, and I'm sure they'll add more. But there's a Mother's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Father's Day, Day of the Dead. This is just the alphabet. There's the Valentines. This is a party banner, graduation, Halloween, and then these are the traditional sized Papel Picado. All right. So that is how you would choose them. And then I showed you how to make them different sizes. And let's see, I think that's about it. So I can keep on cutting this out, knowing that I have all of my bases covered. And then when it's done, you can use something like twine or string. And you don't have to put the white back there. So you just put the string underneath on that first hole and then come through the back on the last hole here. And my string is unraveling because, well, it's live, okay? And so here we go. Come on, string. All right. People say I talk to myself. I don't talk to myself. I do talk to my inanimate objects. So this is how you would do it. You just keep using your string, and then you would take your pieces and put them in order, and then you're ready to hang them up. Isn't that beautiful? And if you look up Papel Picado on Wikipedia, you'll see some really beautiful designs that they decorate the streets of the Mexican cities with these Papel Picado. Just gorgeous. And I just love that I can do this on my Cricut. It just makes it, I mean, I realize it's not exactly like the real Papel Picado, but it brings a nice Mexican flair. Think of it at like Cinco de Mayo or even Dia de los Muertos, okay? All right, everyone, that is it for today. I'm going to give you this file so you don't need to go and look it up, but definitely look for those or look at those images. They're really a lot of fun. And let's see, tomorrow, we're going to do some teenager Valentines, because I'm calling them teenager because my son is into puns, like word puns. So I found these wonderful Valentines that I want to show you that are very punny, and they're really interesting to cut out. You can do them in a print and cut, or you can cut them out in layers. So I'm going to do both for you tomorrow. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you to the folks that gave me the stars. I'm still not sure about how all those work, but I do thank you. And we will see you again tomorrow. And let's see, I think that's it. Oh, wait. So later on today, I'm going to come back and tell you about a promotion. We're going to be doing a promotion for this Cobalt Cricut Cutie. We're giving this away. And thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Pamela. I'm giving this Cobalt Cutie away. It's a rare color. It's been over a year since it was released, and it was only released, I think, one time. And so I'm going to give it away, and I'm going to do that raffle copter again. So be on the lookout for a little short video about how you can get this little guy or enter for a chance to win this little guy. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy your crafting, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.